Hello there. Today we are going to be meeting an important figure, someone who has contributed in the restoration of democracy in Nigeria. He is a senator, a human rights activist. He is also the president of the Civil Rights Congress in Nigeria. He is going to be telling us about Nigeria as we celebrated the independence Nigeria at 63. So join me as we meet up to him.
Well, thank you very much for having me in your program. Well, it is the reality that Nigeria is 63 years old since the political independence we have gained from the British, or I can say since the exit of the British out of the land, the African land called Nigeria. And in the last 63 years, Nigeria has been through experiences as a nation. It has been through the period of civil war, military coup, civil strifes, and crisis. It has also experienced democratic rule from the first, second, third, and fourth republic. Within that period, we have learned our lessons as a country, and we have also made giant strides. But it all depends on which aspect of Nigeria do you want to analyze. And from your own question, you're talking about democracy.
Yes.
Well, Nigeria's experience with democracy has now lasted for 24 years, since 1999.
1999.
The first one was 6 years, from 1960 to 1966. The first one was 1960 to 1966, and today we are having 24 years of uninterrupted democratic rule. It has not been easy, because there were challenges that came up, problems and crises. Some are obstacles and hurdles that we faced as a nation. But we moved on. People thought that democracy would not last in 1999, knowing our history of military rule, but it has lasted to this long. We have had about 4 presidents, from President Obasanjo to Umar Musa Radwa, Jonathan Goodluck, Buhari, and now President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Our experiences as a nation stem from the challenges we faced as a people. In the last 23 years, we have had, our democracy was tested with violence. The violence in the northern part of Nigeria as a result of the enactment of the Sharia law, the violence in the southern part of Nigeria with Niger Delta militants blowing up pipelines, the violence by the Bakassi boys, the ethnic groups in the southwestern part of Nigeria, and secessionist agitations which we have faced. We have also have our own share of violence in terms of ethno-religious violence in the north, which led to the killings of thousands of people, and then terrorism, which we have been fighting against, and banditry in the last over a decade now. So that's from that aspect of it. And from the economic side, we have seen the rise, the fall, and the rise and fluctuations in the prices of petroleum, our main export, crude oil, in the international market, which of course affects our own economy. And government after government, there were attempts and effort to diversify our economy, which we have seen, which has not been successful. From the area of the economy itself in general, you have seen how we were able to address our debt problem in 2004, 5, 6, and now we are almost being, as of the last government that has left, we have over 77 trillion naira left behind as debt for our country. And our population has also rapidly increased to almost 225 million people, when as of 99 it was half of that number. So we have also had challenges about elections, whereby most elections that were conducted in this country were challenged, and aspersion was cast on them as of the credibility and transparency of it. But we have made some appreciable progress when you compare to what has happened in 2011, where post-election violence has led to the killings of hundreds of Nigerians. But for now, I believe that it is better comparative to what has happened at that time. So we can see that we have come a long way, but we have a long way to go as far as democratic governance is concerned. Our political class are suffocating the democratic process. Our democracy is not making it possible for people to breathe and for people to take over power, for opposition to take over power. In 1999, actually, in 2015, President Goodluck was liberal and democratic enough to have conducted a fair and credible election that led to the emergence of Buhari as president. But since Buhari became president, there has been systematic attempt to undermine democratic process by organizing fraudulent elections. And in one way or another also casting doubt on the future of democracy. Many politicians have bastardized the democratic process. Primary elections are being conducted with lots of money in hundreds of millions of dollars. General election is polluted with monies, food items being shared to electorate. So you see how the political process as a whole, democratic process, is being criminalized by the activities of the political class. So I believe these are issues that we need to seriously address if we want this democracy to survive. Taking cognizance of what has happened in many countries in West Africa, where military has taken over power, from Guinea, Conakry, to Mali, to Burkina Faso, Niger, and Gabon. Military continue to take over power because the whole democracy is being suffocated by the political class. These are issues that we need to address as a country that has just celebrated its 63rd year of existence.
So I judging from that's from 9 years of APC in governance. How can you rate the system of governance in Nigeria? Because it's over 9 years. This is like the 9th year that APC is in governance, and we are still trying to previously you just stated that when President Goodluck Jonathan was leaving office, he made sure that there was a kind of.
Well, the APC was a beneficiary of free, fair, and credible election, but it failed to deliver the same and improve on the standard that was left behind in 2015. We have seen systematic erosion of democratic values, disobedience to court order, and violations of fundamental rights of citizens of this country. And that is a serious problem. The Buhari administration has destroyed the economy of Nigeria. He left behind about 77 trillion naira loan. He was a man who has appointed ministers into office for 8 years, and he kept extending their tenure in office without commensurate performance on the ground. He left many projects abandoned, and the revelations after revelations coming up now as of the way in which the Central Bank of Nigeria was plundered tells much about the failure of that administration. He was a weak leader, a complete failure, one that has not been able to harness the goodwill of Nigerians and many people who suffered and were killed in the process of fighting for him to be in power. As someone that has failed the country and failed the people. And his government was the foundation of the crisis which we find ourselves today. Many people think it is Tinubu, but in most cases it is not Tinubu, it's Buhari's administration. By the time Buhari left, Naira was also on a spin fall. People are finding it difficult to eat. So most of these things we are experiencing today are booby traps set up by Buhari administration. By the time Buhari led Nigeria from 2015 to 2023, over 100,000 Nigerians were massacred by terrorists. This is a government that has spent over 2 to 3 trillion on defense and security. It became so difficult for even people to move from Kaduna to Abuja. Even Abuja outskirts itself is so insecure. When Buhari was elected president, people thought you have someone now with a military background who will be able to perform the necessary magic in terms of delivering on the goals of good governance, but which he failed. So I believe that this administration is still too early to judge it from what we have seen now.
Okay, lastly, on the economic side, there's the current rate of dollar and how it affects the citizen. What is your take in that? Because previously dollar was not as high as this because it's heading to 8,000 naira, which is making the cost of living high for people. Even to feed is a problem. And so many people are not just happy about it. People are like, how are they going to survive if it keeps increasing continuously? So what is your take in it as well?
Well, the destruction of the value of the dollar began under the Buhari administration. CBN was simply a cesspool of corruption. Buhari is ignorant on economics. So he had people who were managing the CBN as if it was their father's property. And the end of the CBN is the umbilical of Nigeria's economy. If you destroy that, the whole economy will be destroyed. So what happened was that we had a country that has a CBN that was badly managed, and at that the economy was seriously affected. The exchange rate was going down the whole government became the CBN. The CBN became the government. They are in agriculture, they are in infrastructure, they are in economy, they are on printing money. They are all these things here led us to where we are, and also they are in politics. So this is how the economy of Nigeria was destroyed under Buhari.
Let me just ask you the last question. All right. In the area of the hike of fuel, because now the fuel price is on the high side, making it difficult for so many people to go to work because they cannot afford transportation. So, and it keeps getting high day by day. Like some states will say they are buying fuel 700. Some will say they still buy 620. You know, the price varies, and this is something that keeps increasing, and we don't know whether before the end of the administration or before the end of this year it's going to be more than that. So, do you think, what is your own take in the area of fuel hike in the economy?
Well, the removal of subsidy is the key issue here. After government made attempt at removing subsidy, but because of the fear of the costs, the social costs, and the upheaval that may come as a result of that removal, government became hesitant. But this government had the boldness and the courage to to implement that removal. And this is the situation we find ourselves here today. I think we used to pay subsidy in hundreds of millions, then billions, then trillions, and then we started borrowing money to pay subsidy. That is not sustainable at all. So the removal is in order. But where the government made a mistake is that there was no master plan on tackling the issue of addressing, cushioning the effects of this removal. So they started rambling from here to here. They want to do conditional card transfer. They want to send money to the states to buy foodstuffs. They want the proceeds of the removal of subsidy should be invested in agriculture, invested in education, invested in infrastructure. Let people physically see where their money goes. If you buy food and share to people and the money finishes, what are you going to share for them tomorrow? So I think these are the issues which we need to look at.
So what do you have to tell the government concerning the removal of fuel subsidy? What advice do you have to tell?
Well, the government should follow through with promises, provide long-term and short-term solutions to this problem. Long-term solutions should be investing in agriculture and infrastructure. And the short term will be providing direct support to people that will alleviate the suffering which they are encountering.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you very much, sir, for being on our program. And we hope that what you said go a long way. So viewers, if you're watching us, this is Humanitarian TV. I can be your host, Irene Ogechiku. So don't forget to follow us on our social media handle. Humanitarian TV, Humanitarian TV. So see you on our next episode. And bye.